Hi everyone, my name is Jesse. I am a reports developer by profession. Welcome. This is my first video tutorial on Excel functions. Today I'll be discussing Vlookup. We'll try to check how it works and see how we can apply them on our Excel reports. Alright, without any fancy introduction, let us start. You will notice that when you try to put the equal sign and search for the function, in this case Vlookup, you'll be presented with a brief description for VLOOKUP. It says, looks for a value in the leftmost column of a table. Know that when the function is highlighted, you can click the Tab key on your keyboard to go directly to its parameters. Now this function have 4 parameters. First, lookup value. Second, table array. Third, column index. And lastly, range lookup. Notice that the fourth parameter, range lookup, it is inside the bracket. Now that means that argument is optional. In other words, VLOOKUP will work even without it. Now, to understand this further, let's check our example. So here, we have our main table, meaning this is the table that we generally use as pivot source on our reports and the like. Usually, in the real world, this is your raw data, and often raw data lacks some additional information that requires us to use another reference or set of data. And we will be using this roster table to fill in those additional data for your report or on our main table. Using the main table, we'll try to pull out name, supervisor, manager, and hire date from your roster table. To start with the function, we begin by typing equal sign and then the function name, open parenthesis, type in the lookup value. The value should usually come from your main table. In this case, we'll be using ID column since this field is common to both tables. Understand that common field value on both tables is important to establish connection between these tables. Actually, this principle is basic to programming, especially on relational database, but that's a different topic. So we select B5 as our lookup value, and then we can probably lock the column part of it by adding a $sign before the letter. Or you can press F4 on your keyboard multiple times until you get your desired locking method. This is important, especially if you want to copy or drag your formula to a different cell but keeping the same column reference. Now let's key in the second argument, table array. It should come from your roster table. We can select the entire table and press F4 on your keyboard to lock that range. Next, let's go to the third argument, column index. Now, column index parameter is an integer value. How do we get that number? It's pretty simple. On our roster table, we need to start counting from ID column going to the left. In this example, we are trying to pull up the name of the person whose ID is equal to 1. And the name field is on the second column from the ID column, supervisor is on the third column, manager is on the fourth column, and so on. Remember that your column count should always start from your common field. In this case, it's ID column. So since name field is on the second column from your ID column, then we can enter number 2 for the column index argument. Or alternatively, and this is actually very helpful when we can in some cases we can replace hard-coded column index number to a cell reference that contains our column index number or value. So instead of typing number 2, we can refer to a cell, in this example E3, that has our desired index value, then lock the row part of it by placing a dollar sign before the number, because later when we drag or copy the formula, we only want the column to move and not the row. Then let's move to the fourth argument. Select false to get the exact match. Close parenthesis and then enter to complete the formula. Once we're done, we can drag the formula down and to the left to copy the formula to the rest of the column field. And finally, it's always a good practice to check the formula if they are pointing to the correct cell reference. All right, we are at the end of this video. If you like what you see, please subscribe to this channel and give it a thumbs up and hit that notification bell button to get updates on my upcoming videos. I'm planning to do more, not just Excel function guys, but also Excel macro or Visual Basic. It's also a very interesting topic, especially if you are more into reports automation. I'm pretty sure you will like it. If you have any concerns or comments or suggestion or questions, please do so. I'll try to answer them as I can. But for now, thanks for watching. Till next time, take care.